Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Facebook. Just here to announce that I'll be going live on Coach Tamika James platform on Instagram for Master Class Marathons. And we're going to talk about our intelligent bodies, our masterful intelligent bodies that we were given, and basically how to heal them. And we're going to be introducing a lot of the programs that are going on for our Wells of Wellness and how you can follow Tamara Wells underscore CNHP. So get ready. We're going live. Let's turn our notifications off.
Want to handle things by putting different pieces and letting things simultaneously happen. So I hope that was a good word for somebody who was willing to listen to develop some strategies for how you're going to get things done, put people in place and get things done. So I just wanted to kind of share that today. Hello, Jack. Good afternoon. Hey, great afternoon. Can you hear me? Right. Just coming in, just coming in. So, hello, everyone. Hi, Tamara.
Hi.
Hi, Hair Poetry. Oh, my gosh. Cece, Shanithia. Hello. Do the stocking. Hi, guys. All right. So, we are here for the Masterclass Marathon. Hey, Jack, how's it going over there? It's going well. It's going well. All right, awesome. Okay. So we are here for the Masterclass Marathon. Thank you guys for saying hello as well. We are here for the Masterclass Marathon, and we're gonna hop right in. I'll go first, and then Jack will go up next. And what you guys are watching is a host of entrepreneurs who are here to share information with you, information you may have that you know that you need, and sometimes things that you don't even know that you actually need. So today I am going to get started. We have 13 minutes on the clock for each of us to do our presentations, and then we also have 2 minutes to tell you about ourselves. Now, that is the flow of the Masterclass Marathon, and I want to share with you.
We're going to be sharing our products and services.
And you actually want to come on, fill out the application on masterclassmarathon.com.
So join us on Instagram,
now,
Coach Tamika James.
Our audiences, and we also do a little bit of a masterclass that we would have done privately instead of us going and saying, "Hey,
this is pretty much a masterclass for everyone."
All right, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm jumping in. My timer is starting. So I'm Coach Tamika James. I help you to monetize your knowledge. Like, that's what I do. And it comes in the form of helping you to be able to create your own course or your own program in different things, different ways. It could be simply that I can help you to learn how to create a masterclass for yourself or to do a webinar, all of the different titles. But I really, really love doing these masterclasses because We're on live, and I'm able to share with anyone who just popped in to hear this valuable info. So, what I know to be true about those of you who have knowledge and you want to monitor, you want to make money from what it is that you know, you have fear, you have doubt, you don't have clarity, and you also don't have structure, and you don't have a plan. Those are the major reasons why those of you who are sitting and watching right now, and you've been thinking about, I know how to do something. I know how to help people through something. There's something I want to share. I know that I
This is a
should
national
and could get
platform for
paid
sharing
for sharing this knowledge with others. But all of those other things that I
and
just
getting
spoke
you
about
out
are the
there.
things that literally pop into your head
So thanks for
and you
joining me.
just pause. You put the
Not
brakes on.
sure when
So
I'm going
once
to be
again, I
next,
listed that you have
but
fear, you have doubt, you don't have clarity, you don't have structure, and you don't have a plan. So let me begin to talk a little bit about why fear actually exists, so that I can break down some walls for some of you. Fear has everything to do with the unknown. It is that space, that stuff that you are not really sure about. You're literally in a position and you're saying to yourself, I want to do it, but I'm fearful because I don't know what it looks like. So I'm here to tell you, you will not know what it looks like all the time. And some of the ways that you begin to know what it looks like is to connect and follow those who are doing exactly what you want to do. So before you delve into, I want to start teaching class and I want to create a program, I want to create a full course, I want to do whatever. I want you to do it. Don't find someone that's already doing it. I want you to go and look for that person. I want you to see how they move. I want you to see what it looks like when they are presenting, what it looks like when they're showing up. How do they show up all over the place? Look for all of the clues to see what you need to do. Now, when you get the clues, the reason why fear still creeps up is because you haven't done it and you're not sure if you can. So now what I want you to do is begin to break down what you see them doing and begin to find answers for how they've done it. So for instance, if you see that this person literally is posting, let's say they're posting reels every day, and you are attracted to that, and you see that that's giving them some traction, then maybe you need to figure out how to do reels for yourself. You need to watch the type of reels that they do as the person who is doing what you want to do and start to emulate some of what they do. Now, maybe it's not about riddles. Maybe it's about the fact that they post something every day. What is it that they're doing that you haven't done? Now, what if you're not sure of how to post? What should you do? Maybe you should go and find someone who can help you to post, someone who can help you to create those things that you need to put out in front of you on your page to make you look like the person that you're watching. So, fear has everything to do with I don't know, but when you start delving in, and you start digging into all of the things and breaking them down, and then you do one thing at a time, that fear goes away. Another way that fear goes away is to connect with the person or persons or people or whatever who are doing the thing and get right under them and get the information that they have. Ask your questions. When you get the answer to a question that you didn't know the answer to, the fear will be broken down because now you know what to do. It's like, OMG, that's it. And a lot of times, guys, it's so simple. As soon as you get the answer, you're like, wow, right? Okay, so doubt. Doubt is the next thing. It is like that you're not sure if you can pull it off. And this is a personal thing. And doubt goes all the way back, guys, sometimes to people's childhood. It goes into a lot of different spaces. But doubt will creep up on you when you sometimes even start moving and you don't see the amount of people connecting to you that you wish that were liking and that were saying hello and doing all of these things. Well, you have to keep going, number one. And then you also sometimes need to connect with someone who can talk to you about where you are, who can evaluate where you are with you and help you to get through that doubt. So when I'm working with people, whether I'm working with a private client or in my programs, doubt always comes up. I don't care. I'm going to tell you guys, I see the strongest people ever, and doubt creeps in because you're just like, oh, I don't really know what's happening here. So someone has to come in and begin to help you to see who you are, what you've already been providing, and to let you know if you're on the right track. then you can kind of relieve some of that doubt because you're just not seeing the traction, so the doubt creeps in. People also have doubt when they haven't really, a lot of times when I see people who start coaching and they do programs or they're not even considering themselves a coach and they start doing things, what happens is you don't really know if the thing that you say you're going to do, if you're going to be able to do it. So you know what you have to do? You just got to do it. Some of you are going to have to run your course or your program. You're going to have to run it through one good time, and then you're going to have to get feedback. And then you're going to have to see what people had to say and how you felt and what they felt. And then you will tweak it. So that doubt that you felt that next time around, just keep going and you'll be able to tweak everything. Another thing is clarity. When you're not sure of who you're helping, what you're helping them with, and you're not sure of how those two connect, it really makes it hard for you to move forward because guess what? One of the next things that I'm going to be talking about is like creating titles for your programs and different things. If you're not clear on what you're helping people with and you do create a title and it doesn't really fit or it doesn't match, you're now feeling like, oh my gosh, like, am I clear? Do they know what I'm talking about? Like, oh my gosh. If you're not sure of who you're talking to and you keep it so general and open and you say, I'm just talking to anyone, then there's no clarity there because you're literally talking to a specific audience, no matter what it is you're talking about. And if you're not clear on what you want to help them with, OMG, every time I get on a strategy call with someone to find out what it is that they want to do, we have to go through this clarity stuff. Like, what happens is, I was talking to someone just like 2 days ago, and I said, so what is it that you want to help people with by the time they leave your presence? And they said, well, I want to tell them this, and I want to tell them that, and I want to help them with this. I said, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't put everything into a program, number one, because you can have multiple programs, and you can't help everyone through everything. Yes. So I want you to just determine a few things you're going to put inside this program, of course, and then I want you to decide on, maybe decide the title after that. Because yes, you're niching down, and you're literally getting yourself in a position where you're being clear about the things. So if you don't narrow down what you're talking about, and people think you're talking about everything or just one thing, you're talking about three things, nobody really knows if they can hop in. Okay. Another thing is your structure. So you're going to have a systematic approach to doing the things that you do. Now, how do I help people? I help them to understand that, yes, you may want to start sharing your knowledge with the world, but what's the systematic approach? Like, did you set up some things and organize things for you before you start talking to the world? I always talk about you have to have a graphic, like you need something that goes out that even says that this is who I am and this is what I do. Something that can speak for you without you saying a word out of your mouth. You need to have good visuals. You need to have good photos. You need to, get to the point where you're deciding on what it is what type of image you're putting out. Because if you put playful text or you put text that looks like it's going in a certain direction, the people who look at it, it speaks to them in a certain way. So they don't really know, like, are you for them because of the things that you just put out? Yeah. It just doesn't match. I'm telling you, like, certain things give off a certain vibe, okay? Now, with structure and a systematic approach, you have to find a way that you're going to get visible, which is what I'm talking about, and be professional at the same time. So you may have to decide whether you're going to go live or whether you're just going to create video. You need a systematic approach to letting people know that you exist. So if those of you who don't want to go live, and you keep saying this to yourself, and you're saying, I'm going to create this course or program, how do you tell people? Okay, so I'm going to get off of that. You need to have a plan as well. So some other things I really want to share with you is that when you decide that you're going to monetize your knowledge, you're going to have a plan. And part of it, you have to know by when. When is it that you're going to actually monetize your knowledge? When is this thing coming to life? I will tell you, if you haven't decided when, then you're just going to be doing things and you're just out here. People don't know that there's a point in time when something is going to come alive. They don't know anything. So you have to decide, when is it going to be birthed? All right. You also need to decide who you need. I need to tell you that all of the things that you need to do, you're not going to do them by yourself. It just doesn't work that way.
Yes.
You could think that you're going to create all of these things and do this stuff alone, but there's always someone you need along the way. A great book to read is Who, Not How. Okay, that's a good book to read to figure that one out. Now, what do you need? You have to figure out what you need before you get started. So when you begin to, if you're going to simply monetize your knowledge and you're going to do it through a master class or whatever, a webinar, whatever you want to call it, you have to know what you need. Do you know, and then you also need to know what your budget is. Do you know, like how much it costs for you to be able to present on a webinar? So you've got all of these companies out here, Webinar Jam, Zoom, you've got many, many different companies. You've got StreamYard that you could use, but then you need to know how all of those things work. How do you pay? How much does it cost? And literally, how does it work? And you need to know the longevity of it, because if you pick something that's not going to work for the long haul, you might put money out that you should not have put out. So I want to share with you, you have to figure all of these things out before you start moving, okay? And Zoom, I think, is like the lowest is like $15-$30. So do you have $15 or $30 or not? Some people don't. Some people are like winging it, and they're playing the game of, I'm going to do this session for less than 30-45 minutes and get off because of their budget. But you need to know what your budget is. So a couple of other things I want to talk about is you have to make decisions. You got to name your program. I spoke about graphics. You have to use social media properly before you can monetize your knowledge. You have to understand how to use it properly. You have to know how to get in touch with your potential clients. You're not talking to everyone, so who is it you're talking to? Where are they, and how do you get in touch with them? You also need to know that you're going to need to do public speaking. Guys, when you come into the space of I'm monetizing my knowledge, people have to know you exist. So you're going to have to find many platforms where people can see you, and you have to do your public speaking. You also have to become something different before you can be a person that can be in front of other people, sharing your knowledge with them. You can't be wiggling and wobbling and being nervous. Well, nervous may come up, but you have to stand strong, and you have to prepare yourself, and you have to. That was my first time. You have to become this person that's willing to show up, that is able, and that has created some structure and strategy and has started to plan for yourself. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to let you know that you have to do before you begin to monetize your knowledge. Now, how do I help? So I'm Coach Tamika James, and I help you to monetize your knowledge by either working with you one-to-one. So those of you who want to accelerate your progress, you don't want anyone else involved, and you want to have private sessions for 1 hour for 8 weeks at a time, I work privately with you to help you to literally pull all of these things together. I also help you with your back end in regards to your technology, in regards to your automations. Everything that you say to the world should not be a situation where you're sitting down and you're posting it, or you're sitting down and you're sending the email out at that moment. You're going to need to know how to do automations. And one of the automations I'm going to tell you about right now, I actually have a session that you can actually order that'll show you how to do your IG automation, and also send people over to a landing page to get them to buy into any product or service that you actually have. Now, I'm just telling you that is available, but what I want you to do is connect with me. And I also have another program. I'm going to give you a DM word that I want you to DM me so that you can get in touch to get this. My program called Become a Coach. Whether you're a coach or not, this program is literally able to help you to pull all of these things together over the course of 30 days. It's in a group, and I help you with taking a look at yourself, pulling all of the pieces of the puzzle together, creating the content for your program, and building your course or your program out. That's what Become a Coach is. If you want to get into that, you've been hearing me talk about it, DM me the word code, and I will send you a 20% off so that you can hop in immediately. DM me the word code, all right? And if you want to talk about working with me one to one, you can DM me the word code course, and it'll ask you a couple of questions. All right, yes, great discount. All right, I am quiet. I am now bringing up Jack the God, her presentation, and I'm excited to hear what she has to talk about today. So thank you all for joining. If you want to connect with me immediately, click the arrow at the top and give me a quick follow if you desire to do so. And DM me those words. All right, Jack the God, it is on you, and here's your timer. All right.
Perfect. And I have some things that actually go off of what you even spoke about. For those of you who don't know, I am Jack the God. I own a design agency called Hustle Design Agency, where we create high quality graphics and websites that convert. And I also have a clothing brand called My Hustle is Purpose that just inspires people to keep going, believing their hustle and whatnot. Super motivational. But today, my topic is working with a designer. And this is really important because there's multiple ways to work with a designer. And I get questions all the time. And I have conflict, I guess, rather, that comes to me because people don't actually understand how to work with a designer. And I think it's very important to understand to be on the other end. Most people, especially if you have a business, if you are a coach, if you are going to working in a corporate world,
We're live
oftentimes
on
you're through
Instagram.
communications, you're going to talk to a designer, and there's specific ways for this to be done.
And
So
we're
there,
on
again, there's
Masterclass
multiple ways to
Marathon
talk to a
being
designer,
featured. I'm
and
being
there's multiple
featured
levels.
for
So you might have
Masterclass
like that
Marathon
level designer.
Instagram with Coach Tamika
Typically, what
James.
happens is we're
I
building
came
out a
on
whole
early
campaign,
so
we're
that you
building out
all
a whole
would be able
process,
to
we're creating
hear
your brand
this
identity.
is
People
what's
don't
going
understand
on
that brand
because if
identity
you're
is
a
super
coach, she
important.
is an
So you got to have
excellent
a brand identity. What is a brand
resource
identity? It's your
to
look and
use
feel. It's
to
every
get
time
yourself
I
out
see
there for
a certain
exposure,
color, I know
as
that that is
well
attached to your
as
company or
getting
your
you
name, your
out
face.
there
Every
for
time I see a certain
reaching
font,
the
that's
clients
going to
that you
attach
need
to
to
you.
speak to, depending on what your
You see
niche
it in
is. But
BurgerFi.
you do
You
need to
can
hone
see a
into your
billboard
niche.
passing
And
on
what
the
I'm going to be
highway,
talking
and
about
they don't even
is
have to put their
Master
logo
of
on some of these
Herbs
billboards, but you
and the
know it's
Body's
their billboard
Intelligence.
because they
So
have
that's going to be my feature,
that special
13
green and
minutes
whatnot. And in
time.
fact, I believe
And
that
we're going
their
to
green
share
is
a little
actually
bit of insight
trademarked.
about some of the
Some companies
programs
go that
that I
far; they
have going
trademark
on
certain
that you
colors.
can participate
So
in,
you
some
have
of
to
the
have your
trials
brand
that are
identity. And so
currently
when you work with a
going
higher
on
level
with Wells
designer
of
or an
Wellness
agency,
and under
typically
Tamara
this is an
Wells
option.
underscore
So you can
CNHP,
have your whole brand
so
identity
that you
built where
can
your
join in
graphics,
and
your
get
website,
healed
all that is
from the
cohesive,
gut.
and
Okay,
then you have
get
that
to the
brand
gut of
identity where
things.
people are aware of
We're
who
going to be
you
getting
are.
into
It makes
things,
sense.
and we're going to be
But then you
looking
have your
at
freelancers,
your
so you might just need
skin
like a one-off
beauty
project.
and
And
your
so
systems
oftentimes
inside
people
and
will
out, and
go, hey,
understanding
looking
that
for a graphic
is
designer, need a
the
logo or
building
need a
of your
flyer, whatever.
body
And so you
and
might get
building
a
of
freelance
immunity.
designer
It
to do
comes
that
gut
project.
deep.
But do understand that that
And that's what we're
single
going to be
project
talking
may
about
not look like the
today.
others because
So
you
stay
chose a specific
connected.
designer.
I'm
And so
next.
different designers have different sets of work. So often when I work with people, even if they're interested in me for whatever reason they think that they're interested in me, I send a portfolio because I want you to look at my portfolio so that way if we have any discrepancies along the way, I can say, hey, well, you saw my portfolio. This is my level of work. This is what my work looks like. If you were expecting something different, that's on you. I don't do specific things like there's specific like I want to say character drawings or whatnot. I can do character drawings, but you'll see what mine look like as opposed to other people. People have different styles of art. It's important that when you're working with a designer, you do understand their portfolio. You do know that their level of work. You know who they worked with. You know what their past work has done. So that way you don't have the wrong. You don't come in with the wrong expectations. You don't want to just assume that they're going to be able to do something because again, we're not
Mm-hmm.
magicians. We can't just create something out of a hat and make things happen, right? You also want to come in with a plan, a strategy. Sometimes, oftentimes, some people will not know what they want at all, and that is fine. But know that that level of project is going to cost more. So I know, Tamika, you touched on knowing your budget, and I think that is super important when it comes to a designer because if you don't know your budget, you're not going to know the level of work or the quality of work you might even be able to get. You might not be able to afford the whole project. So when you're getting a whole marketing plan, you might have the ads, you might have the website, different things. All of that is going to add up and it's going to cost more and more and more versus getting that one-off project. So knowing your marketing budget is super important in all of this. And not only that, but as great as a designer that I am, not all of my stuff works. And how do I know this? Because we A/B test. We test our stuff. We look at the back end. We look at the analytics. I think it's important, and I recommend all of you. It doesn't matter who you work with. If you work with my agency, if you work with another agency, I think it's important that you're working with that same person for a period of time. So maybe 3 months, 12 weeks, whatever the case. You want to work with that person for a period of time. That way, you guys can work together and you can figure out what is working and what is not working. We only know design at the end of the day is nothing but opinion. So yeah, there's certain things that we go to school and we learn. There's certain mathematical ideas like I can't even think of the word right now, but it's like whatever it's a math equation. Anyways, there's certain things that we learn and how to place things that scientifically it's supposed to be aesthetically pleasing, and people are supposed to find it a little bit more enjoyable. But at the end of the day, it's still an opinion because not everybody likes the same things. Not everybody likes the same colors. Whatever your niche is or whatever your market is, there are certain things that you have to trial and error. So I always say that you want to do A/B testing, and I always recommend that. So I always say, okay, well, was this working or was that working? I even do this with my own stuff. I have to go back on my posts. Well, these posts were only getting 300 views or whatever, but they're getting a lot more. So let's keep doing what works. And that's how we find out. So you might hire a designer and you might be like, well, you did this and I didn't convert. Well, it might be deeper than that. It might be the words on the design. It might be we got to change the color of a background because one might be more appealing. So there's certain A/B testing. So you want to keep working with somebody a little bit. That way you get that longevity to see are they really actually converting, or is it that your product isn't maybe what it is. Like there's so many different things to the point where even I'll go as far as putting um, it's called, you can go to the website actually, it's hotjar.com. And if you have a website, I recommend you have this on your website. What it does is it records your website and it records the activity going on your website. And then, so let's say we're going through a whole marketing scheme, but you're not getting any conversions, but you're getting traffic. Well, now we can view exactly what the person is doing on your website. Maybe they're leaving at checkout because it's too high, or your shipping is too high, or maybe there's a problem going on in your website when they're doing a certain thing and you didn't know. So implementing certain things like hotjar.com. And so when you go to a designer, there's many things that they may even suggest to you, and maybe you're not ready for that, and that's okay. But I think again, going back to that budget, knowing what you're ready for, knowing what you're ready to implement, and understanding the whole entire scope of the project, because we can't make any assumptions. So I'm not going to assume on anything. So I'm going to go with what you tell me, and I'm going to keep going from there. So even as far as colors, if there's anything specifically that you want to see, you want to relay that. You want to let them know because they're going to do what they think is best based on their past projects and previous experience. And I do that often. If people don't really have a idea, I even as far as colors, sometimes I know I do the colors that I like. I typically like darker colors. So if somebody doesn't come with me and say, hey, I need this and this, you're going to see me do dark colors. Yes, hotjar.com. And hotjar.com is free for a certain amount of traffic views that you are getting. So I do recommend that you implement that in your website as soon as possible. If you don't have Google Analytics, you need to get Google Analytics. You need to be looking at these analytics. It doesn't necessarily need to be daily, but it should be on the days that you are producing your content. The days, once a week, twice a week, whatever the case scenario. Um, and another thing is like you were saying, like automations and having templates. So Tamika brought this up as well. Like it's super important to have automations. It's super important to have certain things. And what a lot of people don't know is graphic designers, agencies, we can create templates for you, and we can do things that you can go ahead and use so that way it makes your process faster. So maybe you can't necessarily afford me to make you a graphic every day of the month all year long, but you might be able to afford getting a template made. So again, going back to knowing your budget, knowing your structure, knowing what you want and what you need, and understanding that certain parts of your project might take a certain period of time. So you might still need to be getting your logo. You might need to get your logo on your website done, but there's certain things that you can't do without your logo on your website. I think it's super important to know where you are in your business and go from there. And I also think that, sometimes if you really want to get it done the right way, save up, save up that money and get it done the right way the first time. instead of wasting your time, wasting your money, and then you're going to have to go back in years later and get everything revamped. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. And oftentimes a redesign costs more than the actual first design because people mess things up. There's a lot of work going into redesigns. Like, redesigns can get messy as far as I've built websites that have gone as crazy as like 30,000 plus because their website was so messy and so jacked up that it took like 2 months, 3 months to get done. So um, the designer. Oftentimes it's communication, it's knowing what you want. We're here to try to bring your vision to life. And again, if you don't have a vision, well, we're here to also for that. Some designers are, not all designers are. So if you're going to a graphic designer or just again posting online, hey, I need a designer, oftentimes they're not going to come with a vision. But when you go to an agency and you say, hey, like I have a business idea, this is the business name, maybe I want a clothing brand, but I don't really know what to do with it, I need help. Well, hey, that's what we're here for. We can give you ideas. We can give you a whole marketing plan. We can do it as creative as possible. I've talked about this before. I work with a lot of people who go to trade shows and just coming up with the ideas of, well, how are you going to go and how are you going to show out at this trade show? Maybe you don't know. Well, I have different ideas and we can work from there. So depending on who you go to, they may or may not have that vision. They may or may not have that creative side. They might just be able to create exactly what you said and that's it. But oftentimes when you go to agencies, they can work on a higher level. And but again, that does bring the budget up more. So you got to know where you are when you're ready to work with a designer, where you're working with the designer at, and what you're trying to get to. So knowing your objective. Yeah, sometimes people don't know. Listen, you probably can give me an idea right now, and I can come up with a whole scheme. You can do this, this, and this, and this, and from there it's just A/B testing. I never make any promises because at the end of the day, nothing is a fact. Even with my own businesses, with my own pages, I have to do A/B testing. I spoke about this with my clothing brand. I pivoted too soon. My last design was working, and what did I do? I was like full of myself, made a design that didn't work. Well, guess what? I A/B tested it though, so now I know I'm going back to the original and just switching it up a little bit. So know that obviously we're not perfect either, but we're here to work with you at all capacities. So yeah, again, I guess that's all I have to say with working with a designer. If you do have any questions, again, whether you're working with me or not, and I tell people all the time, I am so happy to ask. I'm so happy to answer any questions you have. If you're working with another designer and you feel like, oh, maybe they're not doing something, or if you want to show me a design and say, hey, how does this look? I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. If it doesn't look good, if I feel like you need to upgrade, I'm gonna let you know. Um, I have some resources. I have a lot of resources that help me out and have got me to where I've gone. A lot of the times, it's just knowing the resources. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm so happy to help all the time. That's what I do. Again, I'm Jack the God. I own Hustle Design Agency, and I own a clothing brand called My Hustle. Others to believe in their design agency. We create high quality graphics that convert. And I'm done.
Yes. Great presentation. Thank you for sharing all of that info. And what I can say is that this info that Jack is talking about is real deal talk because we are working together. And I haven't even started posting this stuff that I've been working with Jack on. And you guys will see some things on my page, making some big changes on my page. But we were having some really great conversations about what I need and what other people actually need. And the real deal, guys, is that we don't really know. Like, okay, so us as entrepreneurs, we decide to open this business. And then we decide that, okay, now we have to show up. But it's not our level of expertise to know exactly how to show up. It's not our level of expertise to understand what colors work, what fonts, and all of the things. And there are things you can do to try to figure this out. And in the different programs that I offer, I help people as much as possible by saying that colors mean different things. You're not going to pick orange or blue or green or red because you just want to pick it. It has to appeal to the audience that you're talking to. And red means a certain thing. I'm not going into it. I know what it means. And it means more than one thing, actually. But it depends on how you use it. But if you don't know what red means and you just pick red and you start putting it all over the place, you're either going to attract or repel certain people. that you're looking to actually attract. So, even I'm looking at Tide of Natural in the natural world, there are colors that represent natural nature and different things. So she can't go using certain colors. It's going to repel her audience. So there are things that we all have to decide on before we start moving forward. And then when it comes down to, yes, there's psychology of marketing. Thank you, Renata. And then there are things like your fonts that mean certain things and attract a certain audience. So I'm telling you, when certain people see certain things, it's going to be like, that's not really for me because there's psychology in it. And so Jack and I began to talk about what is it that people really need. And I know that a lot of people actually go and get like Canva templates and stuff, and you can use those things and it works. But when you actually talk to someone who's talking to you about the business that you run, the colors that you need, the fonts that you need, and then there are some specific things that I keep talking about every time I present that you need, especially as a person that's going to monetize your knowledge. There are things like you have to have. I'm going to run over a couple of things. You need to have that post that you can put up that says who you are. If you have a program, something that says the title of it or the course, you need something that you can use for quotes that is consistent. You need something that you can use for everyone should be getting testimonies at some point in your business, and you can get them as soon as you actually start. Okay, gotta bring Jack back in. Testimonies are really important. So at some point, you guys are going to need a template so that you can put your testimonies in there. And you need to have a way to consistently show up with certain things. So we were talking about what do people need, and Jack and I came up with something. So I don't know if we're going to talk about it today because let me see, Jack is trying to get back in here. But in any case, the Masterclass Marathon is all about us giving you information about things that you need to think about and focus on so that you can grow your business. Now, we are here. We do offer different services. So all of the speakers that come up, there's something that they do offer. So if there's something you want to connect with us on, please feel free to do so. But I'm going to tell you, like, we just want to really share this information so you know what path to take so that you have success. When you wake up and start a business and you don't understand all of the things that you need that even make you look like a real business, here you are fighting for attention. You're trying to figure out, well, why don't they understand what I'm doing? Why don't they see me? Why don't they respect who I am and what I do? Because you haven't shown up in a certain way. You haven't selected those right colors and those fonts and those different things, and you haven't made any type of consistency going on your page. And as much as those of you who are watching want to ignore social media, you can't ignore it because people have to see you. Okay. Now, other ways that I spoke earlier about getting people to know who you are things like, okay, you back? Things like public speaking and stuff like that. But guess what? Even when you do that, you still need to have your logo. You need to have your photos. If you're going to speak at a certain place, you need something that showcases that. That is why a lot of people you speak for will make a flyer because it's the marketing and it is the marketing and branding of the thing. So guys, get with Jack if you need something. And Jack, are we going to talk about some of the stuff that we are about to roll out, or we just going to leave that for another time?
It's up to you. It's up to you. But I would like to add too. Oftentimes, a lot of us we think we want to be millionaires, right? Well, what are these millionaire businesses doing? I work with a lot of businesses that make over 500 mil, $10 million, and it's like when I work with clients, I keep them at that same level. You want to look like these $1 million businesses, and so there's a reason why they're doing the things that they're doing. They're structuring the things that they're structuring. So you don't want to use websites like Wix or whatever if they're not using those same websites, if they're not implementing those same techniques. You kind of want to try to, as best as your ability and as best as your budget can handle, get on their level. And sometimes that does happen little by little. Obviously, sometimes it can't happen overnight, but that is something to think about. But yeah, it's up to you. I mean, we can keep going or we can do a part two.
Yeah, I think briefly we can because we have something coming. It's not here right this moment. But all right, so I'll briefly say that I was saying earlier, if you want to show up a certain way, there are things that you need. And yes, I teach Canva classes all day. I teach Canva classes like in my membership called UBG, and I can show you how to do that. But if you want it to be started a certain way, and you want to be able to add on to a design that is specifically for you and your business, you need to talk to someone like Jack and let her get all of that together, and then you can come in and know what font was used, know the color codes, and be able to add on to an existing creation. So I don't know whatever you want to say about that, Jack, because we're pulling something together for you guys to be able to have this.
We are, and also, just so you know, like, and I've got good news. I see someone says they've got photo. Well, also trust me, we got some good stuff coming. And also, I'm actually going to be coming into Tamika's program. So if you're not familiar with Coach Tamika's program, she has a program called Underground Biz Group (UBG), and it's amazing. It really helps, especially any beginning level entrepreneurs, really get strategies, content planning, things together, right? But I'm also going to be coming in there and helping out with specific things like getting your colors together and whatnot. And we'll definitely touch on that later on, but that is good news to be coming. So, you know, you will also want to check out her program too, because that is where you need to start. Because if you didn't even start there, we can't even have certain conversations.
Right. Because you need to know what you want to have a conversation about.
Exactly.
You have to really know what is it that you actually feel like you need and where you are in your business. And a lot of the things that actually happen in UBG is random things, like we do have talks about sessions where are you in your business? What do you know that your business needs? Because individually, we all have to stop and sit down and say, this is where I am. Like, be honest with yourself, write that down on paper, and then make a choice about what you know that you need. So if you know your graphics are not on point, you know you don't have a website, if you know that, let's just say, I'm just going off of the graphic stuff, that you need to bring in a part-time assistant for something because you're overwhelmed. You have to know what you need for your business before you can ask anybody to do anything for you. And you might decide that you need someone to run your social media, or you might end up finding out, I don't necessarily need them to run it. I just need the organization of it. I need to know how to get a couple of things rolling so that I can put that into a scheduler. Now, inside UBG, I show you how to use the scheduler. And I'm going to tell y'all, this morning, I woke up in the middle of the night. I went to sleep and I got up like 4 something. And guess what? I was awake. So guess what I did? I took the designs that I have that I got from my designers and I put them inside of my scheduler. So I don't have to think about social media. So mind you, I was up at 4, but for like an hour and a half, I was popping all of them into the scheduler so that they move by themselves. So you may need someone to get one level of the stuff together for you. You add on to it, then you learn how to systematically do certain things, and then you let it work for you so you don't have overwhelm. So those are some of the things like that we talk about in UBG. And but yeah, I'm excited about all of the things that we have coming up. So Jack and I sat down and we were talking about, because I work with specifically coaches, and look, and it's crazy because I've been changing my language a lot lately, because some of you don't consider yourself to be a coach, and I'm still working with coaches. But if you don't consider yourself to be a coach, and what I teach and what I help you with is still what you need, you don't need to call yourself a coach to work with me. You just need to decide that you're going to help other people to move to their next level. But I promise you guys, if you're looking at someone and they're doing a thing and they don't look like they do the thing, you're not buying into nothing. And people are going to look at you exactly the same way. So if you don't show up looking like you are into the thing and that you are moving and you're shaking and everything, people are not trusting that you're the one that they should give any of their dollars to. So I want you to know how to show up properly. I want you to think about what you know you need, what you need to say, and begin to tell people all of those things. Does anyone have any questions about any of the things that we were discussing? Well, we're rolling out this program inside of UBG, just so you guys know. We're rolling out something where Jack is going to be able to work with you, and also she'll have separate services as well. But she's going to be able to help you to understand how, after you have gotten your plan with her, how you add the stuff on. So here's what I'm saying: you get Canva templates all day long, right? but they're not specific to you. So she'll help to make that for you. Now, next, you have to know how to put things in there to not screw it up. You could literally get a template and they made it a certain way, and you come in and you do some wrong stuff and screw the template up. So she's going to talk to you about not doing that so that you can stay consistent. Now, Jack, when you started working with me, I gave you some colors that I wanted you to use, and you solidify a few colors, and then you turned around and gave me those codes. Tell us a little bit about that people need to know about the codes.
Yeah. So there's like Pantone colors, and there's CMYK colors, and so these colors are very, very specific. So they're created in a specific way where there's a certain amount of green, yellow, blue, red in these colors that make that specific orange, that specific green. Like I mentioned earlier in BurgerFi, I'm pretty sure that they have that specific green font trademark, so nobody else can use that exact green that they use. And these color codes help you continue to have that brand identity, continue to keep everything cohesive. So even if you're talking to another designer or you're working on your website on your own, you can go ahead and use that code to or that number to get that same exact yellow, that same exact red, whatever the color is. And so that way everything matches. You know, it's kind of like if you ever like wear a black on black outfit and one of the blacks is off, it's like, this don't really look good, you know? So it's making sure that the same blacks match. And that's the thing too, like people don't know there's a difference between black and then there's rich black. And those are specific codes. So black is 000, but rich black has a deeper code, and I believe it's like 013 something something something. Don't know it off the top of my head, but yeah, those are different codes. So even when you're printing, and this happened, I learned this in my first year of design. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget it. I didn't realize how deep this was and how important this was. And this is a lesson I take with me going forward forever, which is why I'm big on that. I always give people the codes to the colors, right? So I didn't realize that rich black and black were two different colors. And so I used the black, which most people would think 0000, as a background color on a big banner that was getting printed for a restaurant called Flanagan's, right? And what happened was the black was not the rich black. It was like a off black, like a grayish kind of thing. And I definitely heard feedback from that, and I learned my lesson. But that's why it's super important to know these codes and know how know these color tones, your Pantones. When you're working with a designer, when you're working with an advertising agency, and I'm saying this because if you have a company, if you're an organization, a business coach, whatever, I hope that you see the future, that you see the vision, and that your vision is great, right? So in the future, you're going to be working with advertising agencies. You're going to have these big projects done. You're going to need these codes. Otherwise, it will not match up to your brand identity, to your structure, and people will be confused. Because if you go and you see a BurgerFi billboard and that green is like lime green, you're going to think that it's a different company. You're going to be confused. You're not going to recognize the two.
Yeah. And it's so funny because one of the things that was happening to me, just transparency here, guys. So I use different shades of different colors, and when I would use a thing like Canva, I find like Canva has all these different templates, and I found one that's close to something I'm using, to something I'm already doing, and I just use it.
Yeah.
And then when I pop it up there next to something that was a color that I normally use, because the template was made with a certain color, it doesn't match. Now, it's kind of okay to some degree because you can have shades that are very similar that are popping around. But if you've made the choice that you want to be consistent, when you go and you use things like these different apps that we have to create stuff on our own, and it already has a color, and you didn't start with a color that has the code that you want to consistently use, you're now using all of these different shades of it. And like I said, if that's your choice, you can do that because it's very similar. But if you've made the choice that you want it to be what it is, you now need to use that code and start with that. You know, so it's just, I mean, it's just stuff that you learn over time in business. And you can do all this random stuff, guys, when you start out. You can do whatever if you want. But if you really want the fast track to helping people to understand how serious you're taking your business, these things we're talking about, you have to learn and understand these things and utilize them in your day-to-day while you're building your businesses. Yeah. So
yeah, details matter.
Yeah, listen, y'all just stay tuned for my page for all of the things that are getting ready to pop up on the scene. And I gave you guys some gems about what you need. And if you guys are not producing consistent content on your page, people are going to wonder if you're really in business. So I know you don't want to do it, but guess what? In business, you got to do things you don't want to do. Nobody's going to pay you for your laziness. Nobody's paying you for you being lazy and not doing the things that you need to do. So let's get it together, lovely folks. If you need my help, I'm here to assist you with planning, strategizing, and organizing. I do that one-to-one, no matter what it is that you're working on in your business. And I understand that there are things that go on in our heads, the things that we've experienced throughout our entire lives that lead us to being the person that shows up today. But one of the jobs that I have as a life and business coach is to break down the walls of you looking back at what you used to be and operating how you used to operate, to shift how you see things, to make some changes in yourself and in your business so that your business will build. If you don't make the changes in you, this is why I'm life and business. I don't want to just be business. I understand when I see the roadblocks in you guys. I understand when you have family and personal issues that are getting in the way. Now, I'm only going to work with you on that lightly because you just need to deal with that and then move on so you can get your business done. Because I'm going to tell you, if your business is not being run properly, all those issues you have at home, they're going to multiply because you're not going to make any money. And whatever issues you have in your house with whatever is going on, it's going to multiply because everybody going to be mad because ain't no money coming in the house. So I suggest that you figure out how you're going to get yourself all the way together, 360, and build your business so that you also have time freedom. That's another thing that I work on. And Jack and I talk about that quite often. You'll see us posting pictures of being outside. And I know Jack will post pictures of riding her bike. I'm outside exercising or at the beach like I was yesterday. You got to build yourself and your business to the point that you can have some time freedom. Those of you who have families, you shouldn't spend every moment with your family. I know you want to be there for them, but you need to be able to have free to have time by yourself, because if you don't, you are gonna, like, your brain is gonna almost explode trying to take care of them, the business and everything. You have to figure out how do you create some level of balance by organizing your business, by figuring out how you're gonna create balance with yourself, keep yourself healthy, and understand how to keep yourself whole before you are working with other people in business. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, when you're not okay and you're trying to run a business, people see right through it. They see that you're breaking down every moment. Nothing is organized. You don't have no structure, no strategy, and you want them to connect to you. You want them to pay you for services, and you're not organized or any of those things. You fall apart every moment, and they see it. No, we need 360. We need y'all together all the way, guys. Okay. And these are some things that I personally work on, and I'm excited about it. And this is why I created also UBG. And those of you who wondering how much it costs, I don't really like to talk price. $47 a month for you to come in and talk to other entrepreneurs, to learn back end business things, learn about social media. Those of you who are still scared and nervous to open up your cameras to go live and you don't know what to post, you're going to stay exactly where you are.
Wow.
People see it. They see you're not moving. Yes.
They do.
Yes. Okay. So listen, stay tuned. Stay in touch with us. Welcome everyone who just joined the live. Welcome 828 Concepts. So you know what? I want to share something real quick. I just met 828 Concepts. I don't know if she's still here. I met her through Instagram, and we still haven't met live or anything. But I was out. I want to share this quick thing. I was out doing a content shoot. There were people that were walking by, these two guys, and they stopped because I was with another young lady, and we were shooting content with each other. You guys are going to have to find yourself some partners to get these things done. You can do it by yourself, but two heads are better than one. We decided what content we wanted to shoot. We found location and we started shooting. When two guys saw what we were doing, they stopped like, hey, what are you guys doing? What kind of businesses do you have? They knew we were straight business. They understood upon stepping up to us that we were not just shooting content for our help. Both of us are authors, the two of us that were shooting. We were shooting content with our books. We were shooting content of us reading other people's books. And they saw that we were shooting business content. What kind of business do you have? So they connected. And then they were like, oh, and then we started talking about how we're all going to this conference. And then the guys were like, oh, I know this other girl is going to the conference. I want to connect y'all. They connected us on the spot through a WhatsApp group that the guy created. And then we began to follow each other. I'm only telling y'all this story because you need to understand that you cannot hide who you are. You need to connect with the right people. You need to show up in a certain way so that when someone walks by, no matter where you are, they understand your position. They take you serious. So it's not just your social media. It's all of you. It's how you show up. It's what you do. And then the willingness for us to connect with someone who he was connecting us to that I don't even know. I'm willing to connect with other people. I'm an entrepreneur that's looking to build with other entrepreneurs who are on the path going up. So yes, connect us, you know? So I just needed to share that because you'll never know how all of the things go because you were showing up.
Yeah.
That it was all about show. That's what I had to say. All right. Okay, guys. So I will close this live down. This has been the Masterclass Marathon. If you want to speak here, all you have to do is go to masterclassmarathon.com and register yourself to speak. It won't cost you a dime. And you can show up and you can share with the world something that they need to know. And you can teach something right here. And then you can tell people how they can connect with you. So whatever it is that you offer, come and share some of your knowledge and then talk about your business. Whoever is here, we're sharing our audiences and we are giving everyone an opportunity to be well connected. So let me get the asset back on the screen. This is what you guys have been watching today, the Masterclass Marathon. If you sign up, we'll make you a flyer and you'll be able to speak with us. And we're back tomorrow. So we do have a little space open. So if anyone wants to actually speak tomorrow, just fill out the quick application and we'll get you in and you can have 13 minutes to speak, 2 minutes to talk about your business, and if people want to follow you, they will. So it's a great opportunity to get new followers and to make great connections. So I'm closing out. Jack is off the screen, and we will see you tomorrow. And we'll tell you more about what we were speaking about earlier. Thank you guys for joining. See you again soon. Bye now.
Just like that. Whoa. I guess I wasn't on live today.